Hello. Welcome again to the quiz. As usual, if you're tuning in, let me move this window over here. If you're tuning in when it's no longer a live quiz anymore, look at the description and I'll put a timestamp to where the quiz questions start. And hopefully my brain acquires the ability to perform words more as the evening goes on. Hello, first tuner inner. Let me spam the link around in various places. Okay, we normally start, let's say 10 minutes, about 35 past we normally start. It's now 25 past. So let's give it about 10 minutes for me to spam the link in various places, including the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz. Okay. Feel free to say hello in the comments if you're tuning in. Let me post the link in here. This beer smells like apple or something. Hello, Caroline. We're currently in the waiting phase while I'm live, but I'm spamming the link around. So we'll be starting in about 9 minutes time. Is that the event? That's the event. Okay. I think my internet is very slow at the moment. Anyway, that's fine. The thumbnail this week is of me opening a beer because I ran out of silly hand gestures to do. Is that working? Yes, post that. All right. Where else can I post that? Spam it in the usual places. Silly hat today. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me okay. The little blue light on my microphone is on, which is usually a good sign. Hello, Simone. I watched your Mastermind episode this week. Should actually put a link to that in the comments or something. Okay, I think that's all the spamming I needed to do. I will be starting about 35 past. Well, actually, Elated Matt sent me the link to your episode. So if I find his messages, what I'm doing now, in case you're not privy to the comments, is I'm looking for the episode on YouTube of where our regular player Simone was on Mastermind, and here it is. Here's the link. So I'll post that. I'll put that in the description of this video, I guess. But for now, I'll also post it into here. There we go. I thought you did pretty well. I think you did. I don't think you were rewarded for your efforts as well as you could have been. I don't think you didn't do very much wrong, I'll say. But it seems almost like a bit of a flawed format to me, Mastermind. I haven't really watched it in any great detail before. But it really seems like the length of the question that the host asks you is kind of one of the deciding factors, which is completely out of your control. So if you have a topic that lends itself to sort of quick fire questions, you get an immediate advantage over someone who has quite an esoteric specialist subject where all the questions are quite wordy, because there's obviously you're not allowed to answer until the end. Just judging by the way it's played, it looks as though you're not allowed to answer until the end of the question. Otherwise, everyone would be jumping in all the time. So yes, if you get a long question, then you're kind of, you're at a disadvantage. Anyway, if you're just tuning in, what we're talking about is Simone's episode of Mastermind Australia, which I've linked in the chat, and I will link on the description of the video when this becomes a non-live video. I guess I could even put it in into the Facebook page. I'll put it on the Facebook page after the episode this week. Anyway, so we're up to 7:30. All right, so we've got about 5 minutes to go. Oh, that's what I need to do. Open up my list of questions. Gonna need that at some point. Has Dropbox done its thing? Yes, it has. Good. Okay, good. Done. Have we got all of our questions? We have. All right, no silly hat this week. Hi, Meg and Paul and Kim. This week I'm drinking Bluey, which I have never tried before, but was given to me by a friend after a teammate after our game of hockey last night, in which we got absolutely smashed, unfortunately, but the previous week we did really well. Anyway, he gave me this. I didn't drink it last night because I was too depressed about the game of hockey and too tired. I'm going to drink it now. It smells very fruity. Yep, that's definitely beer. Hello, John and Carmen. So we'll be starting in about 4 minutes' time. So feel free to get a drink or a snack or whatever. So for those of you who don't know what's going on, this is just going to be our standard Tuesday night pub trivia round, which I would normally run at an actual pub, but we can't really do that at the moment due to COVID restrictions. So I'm running it on YouTube. Caroline has wine. Nice. I see Pierre has liked the link. It has not yet appeared in the chat. Yeah, so we're going to have 3 rounds, as always. The first round is going to be 20 questions of relatively easy trivia. Not super easy, but relatively easy. And then we'll have the answers after that. Round 2 is going to be another 20 questions, which are less easy, traditionally. And I'll give you the answers to those. And then we'll have round 3, which is our silly/very hard round of 10 questions. And if you get any points in that round, then you're doing pretty well. So it's not the type of trivia where you need to be the fastest to type into the comments or anything like that. You're basically just playing against yourself or against the quiz or against your friends if you organize it in advance. And if you do want to be told about future events, go to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, or subscribe to the YouTube channel, or just tune in a bit before 7:30 most Tuesday nights. How many episodes have we done now? It must be quite a few. I guess probably some way to view that somehow. Anyway, would it be 10 episodes? Must be by now, surely. Hello, elated Matt. All right, 7:33. Very soon we'll be starting. Hello, Pierre. Now, where's our regular Pierrot? I don't know where Pierrot is. Doesn't seem to be here. Where are you living? I am living in my house. I live in the beautiful Southern Highlands of New South Wales. I say beautiful, they're very cold at the moment and very wet. All right, 7:34. We may as well get started, I think. What's happening host with the most? I live in cyberspace, says Matt. Not much happening, Pierre. Came home from work, ate a 7-Eleven service station pulled pork roll on the way home, and I'm drinking a beer that a friend gave me. That's my life. It's not too bad, really. Could be worse. Caroline is living in Melbourne. Joel, Stephen, and Narelle. Yeah, where are Stephen and Narelle? Where are the kings? Anyway, we may as well get started. It's 7:35. So let's get cracking with round one. Question one. What color is Superman's cape? What color is Superman's cape? It's a pretty dire dinner, says Pierre. Well, I have to sort of rush home to get this started. And as it happened, I needed petrol for my car, so while I was in the service station, I bought a pretty dire dinner. I might have a re-dinner afterwards. Maybe I'll do some fry up some veggies in some nice chili olive oil or something nice, a bit more healthy for my second dinner. Question round one. Question two. Which Australian city has a cooling afternoon sea breeze nicknamed the Doctor? So question one was, what color is Superman's cape? And question two, which Australian city has a cooling afternoon sea breeze named the Doctor? The Doctor being, of course, the nickname of Valentino Rossi, who's pretty much the only sports person that I follow. And his number 46 is the reason why I wear number 46 when I play hockey. Fascinating additional fact there for you. Question three, Cointreau is a liqueur made from the rind of which fruit? Question three, Cointreau is a liqueur made from the rind of which fruit? I should have had some Cointreau tonight, actually. Cointreau is definitely one of my favorites. Question four, according to ABBA, how old was the Dancing Queen? Elvis is drinking Cointreau right now. Well, he's not allowed to look at the bottle and see what it's made out of. That would be cheating. Question four, according to ABBA, how old was the Dancing Queen? I do like Cointreau on ice. It's one of my favorite things. Question five, which car manufacturer has a logo of 4 joined rings? Question five, which car manufacturer has a logo of 4 joined rings? This is a fairly unremarkable beer, I have to say, but that's all right. It's cold and refreshing and presumably alcoholic. Question 6. By what stage name is actor and wrestler Dwayne Johnson known? Question 6. By what stage name is actor and wrestler Dwayne Johnson known? I have to say round one has been pretty easy so far this week. Maybe it'll pick up a bit, and then we'll see what round two is like. But in the meantime, question 7. In which year did Germany invade Poland, sparking World War II? Question 7. In which year did Germany invade Poland, sparking World War II? No sign of the Kings. What's happening on our forum? Not forum, on our Facebook page. Question 8. The martial art Taekwondo originated in which country? Question 8. The martial art Taekwondo originated in which country? Question 9. What is Barack Obama's middle name? Question 9. What is Barack Obama's middle name? Question 10. Is my laptop charging? Because my battery is very low. It is charging. Good. Question 10. Hashimoto's disease, Hashimoto, Hashimoto's disease gradually destroys which part of the body? Question 10. Hashimoto's disease gradually destroys which part of the body? Question 12. In the world of Harry Potter, if you are a child with magical abilities, at what age will you receive your letter of acceptance into Hogwarts? Question 12. In the world of Harry Potter, if you are a child with magical abilities, at what age will you receive your letter of acceptance into Hogwarts? It seems like I've done a lot of Harry Potter questions. I'm not actually a Harry Potter fan, but their impact on the modern literature scene cannot be denied. Question 13. Which river flows through the Grand Canyon? Question 13. Which river flows through the Grand Canyon? Question 11. People are asking me, yes, very good. You spotted I missed out a question. Question 11 should have been, Eggs Benedict is traditionally made with what kind of sauce? So question 11, Eggs Benedict is traditionally made with what kind of sauce? So in case we got confused there, question 10 was Hashimoto's disease gradually destroys which part of the body? Question 11, Eggs Benedict is traditionally made with what kind of sauce? And by kind of sauce, I mean it's a sauce that has a name, so it should really be just what sauce. And question 12, in the world of Harry Potter, if you are a child with magical abilities, at what age will you receive your letter of acceptance into Hogwarts? And question 13, which river flows through the Grand Canyon? Okay, I think that's all straightened out. Question 14, in which team sport might you serve, pass, set, spike, and dig? Question 14, in which team sport might you serve, pass, set, spike, and dig? The Kings are here. That's okay, Narelle. Did you get the first few questions, or were you listening while you were cooking, or did you miss out on them? Anyway, question 15. Which highway links Canberra, obviously in the ACT, via Cooma in New South Wales, with Cann River in Victoria? Big thumbs up from Narelle, so I guess she has all the questions. Which highway links Canberra in the ACT via Cooma in New South Wales with Cann River in Victoria? So what's the name of that highway? Question 16. Which actor, born in London in 1927, played James Bond in 7 films? Question 16. Which actor, born in London in 1927, played James Bond in 7 films? Question 17. Which McDonald's menu item always includes a toy? Question 17. Which McDonald's menu item always includes a toy? I can hear signs of life in the next room. Question 18. How many millimeters are there in a kilometer? Question 18. How many millimeters are there in a kilometer? It's pretty quiet in the comments. People must be thinking hard. Question 19. Which animal was historically called the laughing jackass and the giant kingfisher? Question 19. Which animal was historically called the laughing jackass and the giant kingfisher? It's a pretty easy round one so far, I think. I want to see some high scores at the end of this round. And question 20. Please correctly spell the word annihilate, as in to utterly destroy or obliterate. Question 20. Please correctly spell the word annihilate, as in to utterly destroy or obliterate. Okay, that brings us to the end of round one. Caroline says, some I've had no clue. That's all right. That's pretty normal. As long as you haven't got no clue about any of them. Elvis is patiently waiting to refill his Corona. Well, there'll be like a minute break. He can rush out and refill his Corona. His Cointreau, I should say. While I give you an extra 30 seconds or so to finish off your answers. Okay, and while we're thinking, I can spell. Elated Matt says, I'm typing the answers into my computer with autocorrect, but I can spell question 20 correctly. Honest. That's a good point. I can't really ask you any trivia questions that involve spelling. Or sometimes you have questions like how many vowels are there on the top row of a keyboard? That's not going to work, is it? But while we're waiting, I did read a thing. Please take this with a massive grain of salt. Do your own research. I'm not Karen on Facebook, but I did see a study thing that was on Reddit today about how vitamin D might be a good thing to take if you are concerned about COVID. It's not going to stop you getting COVID, but apparently if you happen to be low in vitamin D, then that is not good for you if you get COVID. So it's not a magical cure-all or anything. You just don't want to be low in vitamin D, which I think is a general rule. You don't want to be low in vitamin D anyway, because it stops you being able to get calcium out of your diet and all other kinds of good things. Well, Kat says, I thought it was zinc. Well, the study that I saw this morning was all about vitamin D. So all I can say is Google vitamin D COVID study, and there's probably be a news story you can read today that'll tell you all about it. But I think the short answer is basically try not to be vitamin D deficient at the moment. Again, I'm not a doctor. It's not medical advice. It's just something I've read. If it turns out to be a simple thing you can do to minimize the impact of COVID on your life, then you may as well do it. But do your own research. Good. Right. So that out of the way, let's stay away from the 5G towers, says Kat. That's right. Put on your tinfoil hat. Okay, let's go through the answers to round one. What color is Superman's cape? It is red. Superman's cape is red. Yep, you can look at the pictures. It's red. Question 2. Which Australian city has a cooling afternoon sea breeze nicknamed the Doctor? Okay, crazy people posting crazy things in the comments. Let's not turn into one of those Facebook/YouTube crazy health advice places. What we have to question 2. Which Australian city? Now, I can never remember how to pronounce this. Is it Fremantle? Fremantle? Anyway, it's the one that's near Perth. Fremantle. Fremantle. It's called the Fremantle Doctor. Question 3. Cointreau is a liqueur made from the rind of which fruit? It is oranges. It's usually bitter oranges. Sometimes it's blood oranges if you get the yummy new blood orange one. But it's question 3 of round 1. If you just said oranges, that's fine. Elvis rushes to refill his Cointreau. Question 4. According to ABBA, how old was the dancing queen? She was 17. Question 5. Which car manufacturer has a logo of 4 joined rings? That is Audi. A-U-D-I, Audi, or Audi, however you prefer to pronounce your German acronyms. Question 6, by what stage name is actor and wrestler Dwayne Johnson known? He is The Rock. Question 7, in which year did Germany invade Poland, sparking World War II? That was 1939. Question 8, the martial art Taekwondo originated in which country? I just have Korea for that. I guess you could say South Korea, but I'm pretty sure Taekwondo predates the whole North Korea, South Korea thing. So just Korea is fine. Question 9, what is Barack Obama's middle name? It is Hussein, Hussein, Hussein. Question 10, Hashimoto's disease gradually destroys which part of the body? The answer is the thyroid gland. Sounds nasty. Hashimoto's disease gradually destroys the thyroid gland. Question 11, we got a bit confused, but question 11 was Eggs Benedict is traditionally made with what sauce? It's made with hollandaise sauce. And it's yummy. Best thing for a hangover, big plate of Eggs Benedict. Question 12, in the world of Harry Potter, if you are a child with magical abilities, at what age will you receive your letter of acceptance into Hogwarts? It was slightly confusing because I missed question 11, and the answer is 11. So the answer to question 12 is the number 11. Question 13, which river flows through the Grand Canyon? That is the Colorado River. Makes sense. Question 14, in which team sport might you serve, pass, set, spike, and dig? I'm sure you'll remember your setting and spiking from when the last time you played volleyball. So the answer to 14 is volleyball. Question 15, which highway links Canberra in the ACT via Cooma in New South Wales with Cann River in Victoria? That is the Monaro Highway. M-O-N-A-R-O. Monaro. Question 16, which actor born in London in 1927 played James Bond in 7 films? Of course, it had to be Roger Moore. Question 17, which McDonald's menu always includes a toy? That is a Happy Meal. It's a Happy Meal. My daughter is a bit old for Happy Meals now, but she wanted one the other day, and the person asked if she wanted a boy one or a girl one, and she was very offended. She said, it's 2020, you can't gender differentiate toys anymore. She's very outspoken for a 12-year-old. Anyway, question 17 was that one. Question 18, how many millimeters are there in a kilometer? Well, the SI unit of length is, of course, the meter, and a millimeter is 1,000th of a kilometer, of a meter, and a kilometer is 1,000 meters. So it's basically 1,000 times 1,000. It is 1 million millimeters in a kilometer. That was a very complicated way to answer that question, but the answer to 18 is 1 million. Question 19, pretty easy, this one. Which animal was historically called the laughing jackass and the giant kingfisher? It is the kookaburra, which I think is actually the largest member of the kingfisher family. Anyway, did you know there's 4 species of kookaburra? They are the blue-winged, the spangled, the laughing, and the rufous-bellied. I assume rufous in that instance means red. Holds the little finger to mouth. Yes, 1 million. Why have a billion when you could have 1 million? Question 20. Please correctly spell the word annihilate, as in to utterly destroy or obliterate. Speaking of Dr. Evil, it is A-N-N-I-H-I-L-A-T-E. A-N-N-I-H-I-L-A-T-E. Annihilate. Right. Very burpy, that beer. That's the end of round 1. Let me know how you went. I'm assuming we're going to get some pretty high scores because it seemed like a pretty easy round 1 to me. I mean, I wasn't answering the questions. I already knew all the answers. So 14 from Kat. Medium. 15 from Caroline. Okay, easy-ish. Elvis got 6 wrong. 14. Okay. 14 for Simone. Wow. Maybe it was hard. 15 for Elated Matt, 17 for Kim, 13 for Pierre. Okay, so yeah, maybe medium difficulty. Speaking of which, I did link Simone's episode of Mastermind in the YouTube live chat, and I will link it in the description later, and maybe even put it on the Facebook page after this episode's finished. Elated Matt, found it on YouTube. It's worth a watch to see one of our own doing pretty well. Carmen said both 12. That's Carmen and the person Carmen mentioned earlier, who is, can't find, John. John and Carmen. Okay, cool. Well, that's not too bad score-wise. So let's get started with round 2, which is traditionally more difficult, but not always for strange reasons. So let's go round 2. Question 1. The Formula One race last weekend was named in celebration of which anniversary of the first ever Formula One race at the same venue? Just call me Dr. Google, says Matt. I felt 10 feet tall after I finished filming. And so you should. I wouldn't mind going on a quiz show, but I don't know. Seems very stressful. So round 2, question 1 was, the Formula One race last weekend was named in celebration of which anniversary of the first ever F1 race at the same venue? So it was called the something anniversary race because they're doing like back-to-back rounds in the same circuits. Peter says, just arrived. You missed round 1, Peter. This because of COVID this season, Formula One is doing like back-to-back races at the same circuits, but they don't want to call them like the British Grand Prix and the other British Grand Prix, so they've been giving them all different names. And this one was called the somethingth anniversary because it happens to be that anniversary. So what is that number is that question. Okay, question 2, slightly less complicated. In Australian Aboriginal legend, what name is given to the time before man? Question 2, in Australian Aboriginal legend, what name is given to the time before man? Pierre says, we can't continue until we know how the Kings are going. And the answer is Narelle and Stephen, both on 16. They're tied at the end of the first round. Very exciting. How much geography is in round 2? There's a bit. Question 3, in Fawlty Towers, what did Basil tell Polly not to mention and then repeatedly mentioned himself? Question 3, in Fawlty Towers, what did Basil tell Polly not to mention and then repeatedly mentioned himself? Fawlty Towers is amazing. I'm pretty sure there's really only 12 episodes. Yes, 12 episodes of Fawlty Towers. A huge effect that it had on TV comedy and comedy in general, and is still a classic. And there were only ever 12 episodes. Amazing. Anyway. Question 4. For about a week every year, sometime between late March and early May, the blooming of which flowers is cause for celebration across Japan? Question 4. For about a week every year, sometime between late March and early May, the blooming of which flowers is cause for celebration across Japan? It is a very beautiful sight. Matt says, in my top 3 sitcoms. I have to try and figure out what Matt's other 2 top sitcoms would be. I'm assuming not The Big Bang Theory. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it, Narelle. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it. Okay, what are we up to? Question 5. In which Australian state or territory is the Adelaide River? Question 5. In which Australian state or territory is the Adelaide River? Blackadder's got to be up there for sure. And Black Books. I think Black Books for me is almost perfect. I remember watching it every week when the new episode would come out, and it was just fantastic. And I've, of course, got the box set and DVDs and blah, blah, blah. Yes, Blackadder's fantastic as well. Question 6. Question 6. Which gas is primarily responsible for the condition of decompression sickness, also called the bends? Question 6. Which gas is primarily responsible for the condition of decompression sickness, also known as the bends? I went and saw Dylan Moran live once as well. I thought he was pretty good, but I went and saw Bill Bailey live, and I have now seen him every time he's toured ever since, which I think is about 7 times that I've seen him now. And I think the first time I saw him, there was a woman in the row in front of me who I thought might actually die from laughing. She was laughing to the point of severe respiratory distress about every 5 minutes. He's absolutely brilliant. Question 7. Which fashion designer was killed outside his home in 1997? Question 7. Which fashion designer was killed outside his home in 1997? Backhold says, I saw Bill Bailey in his Quam Peddler show and I was spectacularly disappointed. If that was the most recent one, then yeah, I think that was the weakest one that I've seen. And I did come away from it a bit disappointed. But is that going to stop me going to his next one when he tours? Yeah, probably not. I'll probably go. It's a good night out. Whereas Dylan Moran, I don't know, he's funny, but he seems to kind of have that one main joke. He's more of a sort of character act. Whereas Bill Bailey seems to always have kind of weird random stuff. As long as he mostly stays away from the politics, it's all good. What are we up to? Question 8. Which cocktail, considered one of the 6 basic cocktails, is made with whiskey, sweet vermouth, and bitters? Question 8. Which cocktail, considered one of the 6 basic cocktails, is made with whiskey, sweet vermouth, and bitters? Stephen asks, did Bill Bailey come home? I assume he went home. I know what you're referencing, but I assume he went home after the gig. Actually, I saw him walking around Canberra before the first time I saw him live. I have a stupid coloured wristband on my wrist from work, which I now don't have on anymore because that was annoying, to prove that I've been temperature tested and that I don't have any symptoms of COVID, which is good to know. Right, what are we up to? Question 9. We're taking a long time to get through this round. There's a lot of commenty chat. That song is one of the reasons he was named Bill Bailey. He was born Mark. Well, there you go. Question 9. It's a multiple choice. Question 9. The top of the arch of the Sydney Harbour Bridge is approximately how high above mean sea level? Is it closer to A, 100 meters, B, 150 meters, or C, 200 meters? So question 9, multiple choice. The top of the arch of the Sydney Harbour Bridge is approximately how high above mean sea level? Is it closer to A, 100 meters, B, 150 meters, or C, 200 meters? Question 10. Named after a Soviet statesman, what crude bomb usually consists of a bottle filled with a flammable liquid, often with a rag in the end of it to act as a fuse? Named after a Soviet statesman, what crude bomb consists of a bottle filled with flammable liquid? And if you do find yourself in a riot, don't throw them overarm because the liquid runs down your arm and sets you on fire. But maybe don't bother making them anyway because it's, not cool. But question 10, named after a Soviet statesman, what crude bomb consists of a bottle filled with flammable liquid? In-Betweeners is another classic. In-Betweeners is really good. I'm a big fan of, the guy from Taskmaster, which is another great show. We're just naming excellent English shows now, which is fine. I'm happy to do that. I didn't extras. I've seen a couple of. I saw the one with David Bowie on it and the Patrick Stewart one. They're okay, but I didn't really get sucked into it. Greg Davis, that's the one. Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. He's good in that one where he's the teacher as well because he really was a teacher. Anyway, let's try and get through some questions. Question 11: which football club is based at Old Trafford? Question 11. Which football club is based at Old Trafford? Red Dwarf. Another brilliant one. And amazingly, they keep making new seasons of it, like 20 years after the originals, and they're just as good. It's just like you're watching the original ones. Question 12. What is the more common name for the scapula bone? Scapula. Question 12. What is the more common name for the scapula bone? We've really got to stop just naming random things, random UK TV shows. What are we up to now? Question 13. Which is the only US state whose name ends in G for golf? Question 13. Which is the only US state whose name ends in G for golf? The goodies, very good. Unfortunately, that reminds me of the fact that Tim Brooke Taylor died recently from COVID complications, which is very sad. I still, one of my secret pleasures is listening to, I'm sorry, I haven't a clue, the radio show when I drive to and from work, and he's absolutely brilliant on that. But no more. Question 14. Since the introduction of the GST, most Australian businesses are required to regularly submit a BAS. What does BAS stand for? BAS. Bravo, Alpha, Sasquatch, Sierra, that's the one. 14, question 14. Since the introduction of the GST, most Australian businesses are required to regularly submit a BAS or BAS. What does BAS stand for? Man Down. Man Down is the other show with Greg Davis in it. Right. Question 15. Formosa, 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 is an old name for which modern country or territory? Question 15. Formosa, Formosa, is the old name for which modern country or territory? Hello, Backhoz. I didn't see you sneaking in there. Of course, sorry, I haven't a clue. One of the other regulars is Graham Gutton, who's also still very funny. Question 16. If somebody is described as mendacious, what are they likely to do? Question 16. If someone is described as mendacious, Mendacious, what are they likely to do? Woohoo, geography, says Stephen. I think that, wow, was there really only one geography question in round two? I think we had a few. There's the river one, and then there's the US state one. Question 17. What is the literal meaning of the Italian phrase La Dolce Vita? Question 17. What is the literal meaning, in English preferably, of the Italian phrase La Dolce Vita? LA space DOLCE space VITA. Although, as my friend Guido likes to tell me, Italian is written phonetically, so it's very easy to spell. Anyway, what is the literal meaning of the Italian phrase La Dolce Vita? Question 18. According to the Bible, in the book of Exodus, God speaks to Moses and tells him to lead his people out of Egypt. What form or object did God use to convey this message? Question 18. According to the Bible, in the book of Exodus, God speaks to Moses and tells him to lead his people out of Egypt. What form or object did God use to convey this message? He sent him a text. Hey, Moses, get your people out of Egypt. Who's messaging me? Nobody. Hockey chat. That's fine. Question 19. In golf, an albatross is how many strokes under par? Question 19. In golf, an albatross is how many strokes under par? I think we had one of those questions the other way around in a previous round. And question 20 is one of my favorite trivia questions, this one, because it's one that almost nobody knows off the top of their head, but almost everybody can work out. And it is, on the periodic table, there are 4 elements with 1-syllable names. For half a point each, name them. So question 20, on the periodic table, you know there was going to be a chemistry question at one point. It's mandatory to have a chemistry question in every round, every night. 20, on the periodic table, there are 4 elements with 1-syllable names. For half a point each, please name them. And that's their names, of course, not their symbols. Simone says, Moses, come forth. But Moses came fifth and won a teapot. Yes. There's another one of those, but it requires me to think of the name of a famous soccer player, and I can't think of one off the top of my head. Ronaldo, there we go. Jesus saves, but Ronaldo scores on the rebound. Rod Todd, this is God. Okay, so we're up to the end of round 2. Give you another 30 seconds to think about your answers for that one. I'm assuming the audio is working okay because nobody's complained. Jesus saves, everyone else does incremental backups. That's good. I like that. Good nerdy joke. Okay. I'm furiously clicking around everywhere. Let's go through the answers to round 2. Question 1 was, the Formula One race last weekend was named in celebration of which anniversary of the first ever F1 race, which was held at the same venue, which was Silverstone. The name of the race was the 70th anniversary. 70, the 70th anniversary. Question 2. In Australian Aboriginal legend, what name is given to the time before man? That is the dream time. Question 3. Excuse me, beer burp. Question 3. In Fawlty Towers, what did Basil tell Polly not to mention and then repeatedly mention himself? It was, of course, the war, in the episode titled The Germans. But the answer to question 3 is the war. Don't mention the war. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it. Question 4. For about a week every year, sometime between March and May, the blooming of which flowers is cause for celebration across Japan? That is cherry blossoms. Okay, now we're getting into the silly Jesus-based jokes. What do we have to? Question 4, the answer is cherry blossoms, or just cherry, I guess, cherry trees. Question 5, in which Australian state or territory is the Adelaide River? Well, you'd think with the name Adelaide River, it would be in South Australia, but you'd be wrong because it's in the Northern Territory. The answer to 5 is the Northern Territory. Question 6, which gas is primarily responsible for the conditions of decompression sickness or the bends? Those are both caused by excess nitrogen in the blood. Question 7, which fashion designer was killed outside his home in 1997? That was Gianni Versace. Kat lets us know that Japanese cherry blossom is sakura. Hopefully you didn't just make me swear in Japanese on the quiz. Question... Well, what are we up to? Question 8. Which cocktail, considered one of the 6 basic cocktails, is whiskey, sweet vermouth, and bitters? That is a Manhattan. There you go. Don't know if I've ever had one. I've had an old-fashioned in New Orleans, which was very nice. Question 9. The top of the arch of the Sydney Harbour Bridge is approximately how high? Well, it's 134 meters above mean sea level, which means that it's closest to B, 150 meters. And the arch, in case you're wondering, is 503 meters long. Question 10, named after a Soviet statesman. What's that crude bomb? It is, of course, the Molotov cocktail, named after, wow, how are we going to pronounce that one? Vyacheslav Molotov, who was a protege of Joseph Stalin in the 1920s. But the answer is Molotov cocktail. Question 11, which football club is based at Old Trafford? That is Manchester United, not Manchester City, Manchester United. If you just said Manchester, I think you can have half a point. If you didn't say United, there's two teams. It could have been the right answer. Pierre says, the best team in the world. Yes, go sports. Question 12, which is the more common name for the scapular bone? That is your shoulder blade. Scapula, I guess, meaning scalpel, sort of knife-shaped, and we do call it the shoulder blade, I guess, grasping at straws. But anyway, the answer is shoulder blade. Sheffield Wednesday, faux life. Question 14. Question 13, which is the only US state whose name ends in G for golf? Did you get that one? It is Wyoming. Wyoming. Question 14. Since the introduction of the GST, most businesses have to hand in a BAS. That is a business activity statement. BAS, business activity statement. Question 15. Formosa is an old name for which modern country or territory? The fact that I had to be a bit cagey and say country or territory is a bit of a giveaway because it depends who you ask. It is, of course, Taiwan, which is separated from mainland China by the Straits of Formosa. And Taiwan, is it part of China? Is it its own thing? Depends who you ask. But anyway, the answer is Taiwan. Question 16. If someone is described as mendacious, what are they likely to do? Well, if you're mendacious, you are prone to lying. So question 16, the answer is they are likely to lie. Question 17, what's the literal meaning of the Italian phrase la dolce vita? It's simply the sweet life. Vita meaning life, and dolce meaning sweet. The sweet life. Question 18, according to the Bible, God speaks to Moses. What form did he take? Or what form or object did God use? It was the burning bush. It's a bush. It's on fire. It's telling me what to do. Sure, I'm going to do it. Question 19. Later Matt says, I think it means spade in Latin. Okay, fair enough. Maybe a scalpel means spade as well. I don't know. Anyway, question 19. In golf, an albatross is how many strokes under par? The answer is 3. It goes par, birdie, eagle, albatross, condor. In question 20, on the periodic table, there are 4 elements with 1-syllable names for half a point each. Name them. Cat says, is a burning bush an STI? Probably not nowadays. Anyway, question 20, periodic table, elements with 1-syllable names. They are gold, lead, tin, and zinc. Gold, lead, tin, and zinc. All right. How did you go at the end of round 2? And while you're thinking about that and adding up your answers, I noticed there was an ad the other day that there is a quiz show. One of my favorite quiz shows from the UK is starting in Australia, which is called Only Connect. It's hosted by Victoria Corin Mitchell, who is a seriously smart cookie. She happens to be married to David Mitchell, but that's far from her greatest achievement. She's won several proper professional poker tournaments, like millions of pounds. And yeah, she's a seriously smart cookie. And I will say Only Connect, it can be a bit baffling. It's one of those quizzes where if you get one question right all night, you're feeling pretty good with yourself. But yeah, it's worth checking out. I don't know exactly what time it's on because, television timetables are somewhat illusory and flexible, but have a look. Check it out. All right. Elated Matt says iron. Iron's got 2 syllables. Iron. I'm going to say 2 syllables. It's got 2 vowels in it, separated by consonant. Sounds like 2 syllables to me. Okay. Norell's got 16. Stephen got 12. Stephen, what are you doing? Second round collapse. Kat got 12.5. Caroline got 11.5. Pierre says 1 point each or half a point. For question 20, that was half a point each for the periodic elements table name, one syllable words. Anyone? Says Pierre. Half a point each. Simone got 15. Kim got 13.5. And people are. Narelle agrees. Iron is 2 syllables. With a sad face, which I assume means she wrote down iron. Gold, lead, tin, zinc. Okay. Good. Good. Somehow the Facebook page is not open anymore. There it is. And Peter got 18.5. 16.5. I can't read. Simone got tin and zinc. Stephen has too much specialist knowledge. Well, here we are in round 3 now, which is our very difficult round. Easiest second round ever, I reckon, says Pierre, who got 14. Pretty good. All right, let's try round 3 then. Oh, God, why did that go away when I clicked that? Come back. Why have you changed page size? Okay, it's back. Good, carry on. Round 3, question 1. It's a multiple choice. I don't know why I keep doing these multiple choices. It's meant to be difficult. Round 3. I keep giving you multiple choice. Carmen got 8. John got 14. Nice one. Okay, round 3, question 1. What is Chuck Norris's real first name? I guess I could just leave it at that. That could be a round 3 question in all itself. But I'll give you multiple choice. Is it A, Charles, B, Carlos, or C, Kimberly? Round 3, question 1. What is Chuck Norris's real first name? Is it A, Charles, B, Carlos, or C, Kimberly? Two vowel phonemes in iron and neon, so therefore 2 syllables. Yes, what she said. Question 2. Viti Levu and Vanua Levu are the 2 main islands of which country? Hey, look, it's a geography question. Round 3, question 2. Viti Levu, that's V-I-T-I space L-E-V-U, and Vanua Levu, V-A-N-U-A space L-E-V-U. Viti Levu and Vanua Levu are the 2 main islands of which country? Question 3. Behind Chuck Norris's beard is another beard, and behind that, a fist. Let's not get drawn into the Chuck Norris jokes. Question 3. The movie character Daniel LaRusso is better known as what? Question 3. The movie character Daniel LaRusso is better known as what? Daniel spelled the normal way, L-A-R-U-S-S-O, LaRusso for the surname, but he's better known as what? Not if you're from Northern Ireland, says Elated Matt. Well, I happen to know you're not from Northern Ireland, Elated Matt, so you can't have the point. Question 5. Nope. Question 4. Let's be traditional and do them in order. Question 4. Which of the 7 ancient wonders of the world is the only one for which the location has not been definitively established, and in fact, there is no evidence that it ever existed? Question 4. Which of the 7 ancient wonders of the world is the only one for which the location has not been definitively established, and in fact, there is no evidence that it ever existed? And if you want a hint for that one, I can tell you, it's not the Great Pyramid of Giza. Question 5, although maybe I'll give you a little while to mentally run through your list of the 7 ancient wonders of the world. And decide for which one there is no evidence that it ever existed and they don't know where it was supposed to be. Gee, thanks, says Pierre. You got to know your ancient wonders. Question 5. Which device, widely criticized as pseudoscience, did Peter Brock insist improved performance and handling of motor vehicles by aligning their molecules? Question 5. Which device, widely criticized as pseudoscience, did Peter Brock insist improved performance and handling of motor vehicles by aligning their molecules? So that gadget that was included in cars had a particular name. Peter Brock said it was great. Everyone else thought it was not. But what was it called? Question 6. Margaritomancy, I will spell that one in a sec. Margaritomancy refers to divination or fortune telling by studying which objects? Margaritomancy, Margaritomancy. Wow. Margaritomancy refers to divination or fortune telling by studying which objects? The flux capacitor, says Pierre. But the flux capacitor actually worked. That's the difference. And yes, you can tell the future by studying margaritas, in that if you drink a lot of margaritas, you have a pretty good idea how your night's going to turn out. Question 7. How do you play the musical instrument called a sistrum? S-I-S-T-R-U-M. Question 7. How do you play the musical instrument called a sistrum? And it has to be the way that it's actually meant to be played. I mean, you can play any object by banging it on the wall, but yes, I want to know the actual way that you are supposed to play a sistrum, S-I-S-T-R-U-M. Question 8. What is the more common name for the medical term borborygmus? B-O-R-B-O-R-Y-G-M-U-S. What is the more common name for the medical term borborygmus? Singing Jimmy Buffett songs now. Ah, yes, he had that one, didn't he, about Margaritaville, I think was the name of his album or autobiography or something. I couldn't tell you a Jimmy Buffett song or even what he sounds like. I just know the name. So question 9, just remember, if you're struggling in round 3, that's the point of round 3. It's sort of the holding place for all the questions that don't quite fit into a normal trivia round for whatever reason, usually because they're really obscure. This one, not so bad though. Question 9. What was the focus of the Montreal Protocol, which came into effect in 1989? Question 9. What was the focus? Or I should say, what is the focus? I think it's still a thing. What is or was the focus of the Montreal Protocol, which came into effect in 1989? And question 10. The Indira Gandhi Gold Cup is awarded in which sport? Question 10. The Indira Gandhi Gold Cup is awarded in which sport? Okay, that seemed like a reasonably difficult third round. But yes, it's always hard to tell. Don't feel too bad if you didn't really have any clue about any of those. Give you another, I don't know, 20 seconds or so to think about your answers. I'm really hanging out for some, I think I'm going to do some dumplings and bok choy fried up in some chili and coriander olive oil, I think. Caroline says, I think this could be my first round 3 with 0 points. One of them is a multiple choice. You got a 33 1/3% chance of getting the first one right. Okay, here we go. Round 3, question 1. What is Chuck Norris's real name? Is it A, Charles, B, Carlos, or C, Kimberly? It is B, Carlos. You didn't really think it was Kimberly, did you? I kind of put that in there as a red herring. His real name's Carlos. Carlos Norris. Question 2. Viti Levu and Vanua Levu are the 2 main islands of which country? Kind of sounds like Vanuatu, but it isn't. It's Fiji. Question 3. The movie character Daniel LaRusso is better known as what? If it sounds vaguely familiar and you're banging your head trying to remember what it is, that's the name of the Karate Kid in the original movie. Daniel LaRusso is the Karate Kid. Yeah, you had a good guess, says Caroline. She's saved from getting no points. All right, question 4. Which of the 7 ancient wonders of the world? Which in a way is multiple choice. I just didn't give you the choices, but there's only 7 of them. The only one for which the location has not been definitively established, and in fact there's no evidence it ever existed, that is the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Probably mythological. But I guess if it's gardens, I mean, there might not be anything left. You know, flipping great pyramid, it's going to last a few thousand years. A garden, maybe not. Anyway, question 5. Which device, widely criticized as pseudoscience, did Peter Brock, yada yada, motor vehicles, molecules? It was called the energy polarizer. The energy polarizer. You just put Babylon. You want to say, I guess if you take that as one of the list of 7, that it's only one of those lists, one of those items. So yeah, you probably have the full point for Babylon, I would say. Simone says, arg, of course, to, I don't know which question, maybe energy polarizer. Anyway, question 6, let's push on. Margaritomancy refers to divination or fortune telling by studying pearls. I'm guessing Margarito is something to do with pearls. Anyway, the answer to question 6 is pearls. Question 7, how do you play a sistrum? Well, sistrum comes from the Greek word for that which is shaken, or simply to shake. A sistrum is something that you pick up and shake, like one of those little egg ricey things, I guess. Anyway, look it up. Question 8. So anyway, the answer to question 7 is just shaking it. Will do. Question 8. What is the more common name for borborygmus? Well, borborygmus is your tummy rumble or your stomach rumble. That noise that your tummy makes when you're hungry or suffering digestive distress. The sound typically originates in the small intestine, not the stomach, but you know, it comes from that part of the body, so we call it the tummy rumble. Question 9. What was the focus of the Montreal Protocol? Well, it's widely regarded as one of the most successful kind of international collaborative efforts. The focus of the Montreal Protocol was the protection of the ozone layer by phasing out the production of CFCs and other products that deplete it. So if you said CFCs or ozone layer or anything along those lines, you can have the point. And it worked really well. It's done really well. And question 10, the Indira Gandhi Gold Cup is awarded in which sport? It is field hockey. If you said hockey, you can have half a point because there's at least 4 types of hockey that I can think of. Field, ice, inline, and roller. Yes, so question 10, the answer is field hockey. Okay, that brings us to the end of round 3. We still have our Who Am I to go. But let me know how you went. Kat says 0 points. Well, maybe I'm judging that correctly. You know, maybe that's how it should be for round 3. Peter got 3. Matt got 3. Caroline got 3. I want to know what Simone got. Karate Kid, says Simone. Yeah, I know. It's one of those questions that you know, but you can't place it. Narelle got 1. Stephen got 4. Hang on a second. What happened in the previous round? Narelle got 16, Steven got 12, so he was 4 behind. No, he's... Oh. 1 point off a tiebreaker. Simone got 2, Kim got 3, Pierre got 2. Ah, ha, ha. Later, Matt put Dan Dare for question 3. Okay, good. Let's do our stop touching your face. Let's do round. What are we doing? We're doing the who am I? Okay, the way this works, if you're in a tiebreaker situation, you can use this to settle your tiebreak. I'm going to read out clues about a person. If you think you know the answer, have a crack at it. If you get it right, you win the tiebreak. If you get it wrong, you lose. The other person wins the tiebreak. So you want to be fast, but you need to be correct. Thanks for doing the voice, says Pierre. Oh no, total scores. Narelle 33, Stephen 32, Carmen 26, John 30.5, Simone 31, and Kim 33.5. I like how we're doing total scores now. I don't even know what the maximum possible in this game was. 29 out of 51. Pierre reckons 51 in total. Really? Only 1 bonus point? Oh no, because we had 2. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We didn't have any bonus points, and we just had 1 where you could get 4 half points, so that's kind of a bonus point. Okay, good. Let's do the who am I. If you're not a tiebreaker, you can just play along, have fun. 29.5 from Caroline. And Pierre just has put the number 51, which I'm pretty sure is not his score. Okay, who am I? I was born in Nijmegen. I don't know. Nijmegen in the Netherlands in 1955 to a Dutch father and an Indonesian-born mother. In 1962, my family moved to the United States, settling in Pasadena, California. My older brother and I learned to play the piano from the age of 6. My strict parents insisted I study classical piano, even though I hated the long commute to my teacher, and I never got the knack of reading music. From 1964 to 1967, I won first place at the Long Beach City College piano competition, performing long recitals of Bach or Mozart entirely from memory. Frustrated with piano, I bought a drum kit and began practicing for hours every day. However, after I heard my brother's drum solo in the song Wipeout by the Surfaris, I switched instruments again, this time choosing electric guitar. I claim Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page as my main influences, but I myself have been hugely influential, pioneering a two-handed tapping style using natural and artificial harmonics, extensive vibrato, tremolo picking, and volume swells. In the 2012 Guitar World Reader Poll of the 100 Greatest Guitarists of All Time, I was voted number 1. I hold several patents for unusual guitar accessories. I also played the solo on Michael Jackson's song Beat It, as well as doing soundtrack work for the movies Over the Top, Twister, and Lethal Weapon 4. I am best known for my work in a band I formed with my brother, which bears our name, where I play lead guitar and occasionally keyboards. This band, in its various incarnations, produced 12 studio albums, 2 live albums, and 56 singles, holding the record for the most number 1 albums on the Billboard mainstream rock chart, selling over 75 million albums and having more Billboard Hot 100 hits than any other hard rock or heavy metal band during the 1980s. No guesses in the comments so far. With the first name Edward, famous guitarists with the first name Edward, Eddie, anybody? I am Eddie Van Halen. Yes, Simone got it. Eddie Van Halen. He's a bit of a guitar. I mean, he's a guitar genius. He invented that whole arpeggiated tapping thing, but also he plays all the keyboard stuff on Van Halen songs, which is, you know, if you think of like Jump, it's a very keyboard-heavy song. Of course, says Pierre. I was trying to think of a Dutch name the whole way through. Van Halen. And I do have an extra fact, which is we used to rent a PA from our friend David Lee Roth, but I hated singing, and we realized it would save us money if we just got David to sing in the band and bring the PA with him. So there you go. That's how David Lee Roth ended up being the lead singer of Van Halen for quite a while. Anyway, there we go. We've reached the end of the evening. Hope you had fun. Thanks for tuning in. check out. I will post the link to Simone's YouTube mine. Hang on, let me just type things in here before I start losing my mind. What's it called? Yeah, I'll post the link to Simone's episode of Mastermind into the comments, into the description of the video. And I'll also post it into the Facebook page. Here it is. I'm posting it right now. Simone's Mastermind episode. Simone has an I in it. There we go. It's now posted to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz. David Lee Roth is a paramedic now. That seems like it's the setup for a punchline, but I can't see how that would work. Whenever I think of David Lee Roth, I just think of those Star-Spangled Banner tights he used to always wear. Anyway, hope you had fun. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Pierre, Simone, Narelle, Caroline, Stephen, everybody. Mastermind, that's the word I was looking for. Yep. So see you all next week. Or you'll see me, rather. And thanks for some stage 4 restrictions respite, says Carmen. Yep, I think we're not out of the woods yet by a long shot. But anyway, we'll just keep on doing what we're doing. I'm sure we'll get through it in time. But in the meantime, I'm going to end this, and then I'll post the video into the description so you can check it out. See you all. See you next week. Bye.